If precision is important to you, then digital readout tools are a must for any woodworking shop. Today I want to show you two new tools from iGaging that make it very easy to get accurate readings in our shop. The first tool here is our 6-inch digital caliper. One of the things you'll notice right off the bat is the large readout screen. This makes it incredibly easy to read our measurements when we're trying to calibrate or get thicknesses or any type of thing we're trying to do in our shop. What makes the digital tools really nice is that they will give you 3 separate readings. Now the first reading here is in fractions of an inch. By simply pressing that button in the center, we can change to millimeters, and then by hitting it again we can change to inches, and then back to fractions of inches. That makes it very handy for any sort of project to determine what set of accuracy we really need to read off of this tool. Now the way you calibrate this tool is real easy. You simply close the jaws till they're nice and tight, hit that 0 button there, and you've calibrated out the tool. Now I like that capability of zeroing out a tool because it also allows the tool to read in reverse. We can open up these jaws to read at 3/4 of an inch. We can then recalibrate it by hitting that 0 button at the 3/4 inch mark. If we place this around something that's not 3/4 of an inch, as we close it, you'll see that you're going to get a negative readout there. So it tells me the differences between the two. It's sort of like a fractional calculator that allows me to figure out how much more I have to take the piece down or how much more I have to add to it. Real nice handy feature to have in your calibration tools. To recalibrate it, we simply close it down. You'll notice how easy that thumb wheel is to make our adjustments. Once you have your jaws closed, punch your 0 button and the tool is recalibrated. If you look at the front side here, you'll see that the 2 jaws for reading an inside and outside measurement are very finely machined to get us incredibly accurate readings. We have a locking device on the top side of the tool here that allows us to lock in a setting once we've calibrated it. Now you'll also notice on the handle of the tool is this handy scale. That scale allows us to get a quick reference of settings, like if we're trying to move out to a 3-inch or a 2 3/4, so we're not trying to guess all the time. It's just another way of reading and calibrating the tool. Now I find this tool very handy to use. When I send my router bits out for sharpening or my saw blades, it allows me to check the accuracy once they've been resharpened to see if they still truly are the size that we need for our project. It also works incredibly well for finding the right drill bit for the right hole that we need to drill in our shop. Now it's not just limited to metal items. We can also use it on wood if we're doing turnings. We're trying to turn down a spindle here to be 3/4 of an inch. Works incredibly well for that. I also find it handy for use when we do our planing in our shop. When planing our stock, it's incredibly important, especially if you're going to do dovetails, to make sure your stock is exactly the thickness required by that jig that you're using. In this case, I can get incredible readings off of that and make my planing projects go a lot faster. All in all, I will say this is probably the handiest tool I have in my shop, and I use it probably every single day that I'm in my shop doing my projects. Now that's the first tool by iGaging. The second tool that I want to show you has the same large digital readout as my calipers here, and this is iGaging's Snap Depth Gauge. The way this tool works is it has a little plunger on it that allows us to get our reading. Again, you'll notice that you'll see that nice large size digital readout screen. That readout screen has the same 3 features that our caliper has. Those features are that it reads in fractions of an inch, it reads in millimeters, and it reads in inches to get whatever reading we need for whatever project that we're working on. Now I'm going to show you one of the handiest ways that I've used this tool. I use it for setting router bit heights, drilling holes, and getting their depths, but I find it very handy to use when I'm cutting my dados to make sure I get that exact depth that I'm looking for. Here's how simple it is to work. Place your snap gauge down on that flat surface. What you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and hit that 0 button. That calibrates it out to the surface that we're sitting on. As we slide this across the dado, you'll see that the plunger drops down automatically because it is spring-loaded, and we can get our reading off of that. What we're going to do next is we're going to hit that hold feature. By hitting that hold feature, it allows me to bring the tool up so I can take a reading off of it, which makes it incredibly handy to check my settings so that I don't have to find myself trying to lean over and read the scale on the side of this. Now this also works for setting the height of router bits. It will set the height of your dado blades. But I've also found a very handy use for it as well, other than just doing depths of dados or depths of holes like you see here. I've got some tools in my shop that use the old style dial readouts. Now I have one of these for setting my joiner knives. I use it for calibrating my drill press. It has a magnetic base that is attached through the backside mount that you see here. One of the handy features that iGaging has done is they've made the exact same mount on the back side. That mount will allow me to upgrade all my tools in my shop that use this dial readout to a digital version. It makes it so much more easy to read those numbers versus trying to look down at this little line and determine whether I'm on that or not. Now the snap gauge does come with 2 additional extensions so that we're capable of extending the tips out to 4 inches for whatever project that we have around the shop. All in all, I think you'll find that these 2 tools will probably be some of the most frequently used tools that you add into your shop for doing measuring. I've tested them again and again and again and found them to be highly accurate and very reliable. The other feature that I really like about the tools is that if you forget to turn these tools off, they have an automatic feature that will shut them down to preserve the life of the battery. I think they are a must-have for any shop, and you'll find that once you get them in your shop that you'll be using them every day just like I do.